The elites, they have been the center of attention lately for many reasons. A lot of crazy shit has been said about the elite, and with all this news about the new contracts that the elite signed with AEW, some of the stuff that's been going around I think is worth mentioning. So these new contracts that the elite signed with AEW, they were offered a higher pay. The Bucks, they're still going to be the EVPs of AEW, but this was a pretty big deal for many reasons. Not only is this the highest guarantee any tag team in pro wrestling history has ever received, and I'm talking about the Young Bucks. This contract is higher, even higher than the WCW deals for Scott Hall and Kevin Nash. Now, I'm not sure if that also counts the inflation, and we're talking about these WCW deals that happened over 20 years ago, but even then, 20 years ago, these contracts that Scott Hall and Kevin Nash got at the time were unheard of. Not too many people in that time were getting that type of money unless your name was Hulk Hogan. So I can think of a lot of tag teams, good deserving tag teams, and not only is this being called the highest guarantee in tag team history, in pro wrestling history, but there was a lot of talk that also went into the elite possibly not signing or re-signing with AEW. It was reported that WWE was also interested in Kenny Omega as well as the Bucks. Now, nothing was said about Hangman Adam Page, which could have been another factor in them re-signing with AEW. Instead of Kenny Omega and the Bucks going to WWE, they re-signed with AEW so all four of them can be together. The elite, all four members, including Adam Page, all signed with AEW. The internet was saying that WWE was highly interested in Kenny Omega and wanted to bring him over to the company to feud with top guys like Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and Cody Rhodes. And the elite were actually considering this and actually considering making the jump to go to WWE. And one of the reasons, I'm sure, was money, but another reason too is issues they still remain in the locker room in AEW. Punk returned to AEW, and since his return, he's mostly been focused on Collision. He hasn't really been on Dynamite. The elite has mostly stayed on Dynamite as well. So this looks like a brand split. You have the elite on one show and you have Team Punk on the other show. And the rumors are saying that elite almost didn't re-sign with AEW because of the remaining Punk situation that are still going on. So all of these things that are happening at the same time was affecting the elite re-signing with AEW, which was the reason why it was such a big deal. There was a lot of things that went into this with the interest that WWE had, the fact that the elites, they all wanted to stay together, all four of them, and the issues with Punk. But as we all know, the elite ended up re-signing with AEW, and I think it's a smart choice, especially if the Bucks are getting the biggest guaranteed contract in all of tag team pro wrestling, and they still get to be the EVPs of the company. So the elite, they're no dummies. They have it made pretty good right about now. But out of all the tag teams in the whole entire world, the Bucks to have the highest paid contracts in pro wrestling history, that is kind of crazy to me. Are the Young Bucks really that important to pro wrestling? Like, are the people really dying to see these guys? Are they drawing main event status? I don't take anything away from the Bucks. They have a good story that was kind of briefly explained in that Cody Rhodes documentary as well, where they went off and did their own thing and made a big name for themselves in the indies. They started this all-in pay-per-view indie show and they were successful and they've done a lot of great things. But when it comes to the stuff in the ring, the matches, their drawing power, I don't feel like the Bucks are really that deserving of being named the best tag team in the world or being named the tag team that deserves a highest guaranteed contract in pro wrestling history. But AEW and Tony Khan, they see a lot of value in the Young Bucks still, and they're willing to dish out the dough to keep them and make sure that they don't go for WWE. So a lot of interesting stuff with this new contract signing that the Elite just signed with AEW. It looks like so much went into play here to keep these guys in the company. So I hope you guys are excited to see the Elite in AEW for the next few years to come.